So a deal has been reached to end the government shutdown. Does this mean the government is open? Not quite, but now it's only a matter of time. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Senate finally reaching a deal to end the government shutdown. This does not mean, however, that the government is open, because you still got to go through a few things. First, the House, they got to sign off on it. And the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, said he's ready to go. They got the votes. They're ready to move forward. Then it's got to come back to the Senate, and then it's got to go to the president. Since the Senate was able to get the votes necessary, it's pretty much a done deal. It's just some procedural things. And by the end of this week, they say the government should be back open. Now, as I said, you got to have at least 60 out of the 100 Senate votes to move it forward. We do not have 60 Republicans in government. So let's look at the Democrats and others who voted with Republicans to open the government. So you see, you got Dick Durbin, Jackie Rosen, John Fetterman, Catherine Cortez, Masto, Janine Shaheen, Maggie Hassan, Tim Kaine, and Independent Angus King. Okay, so those are your people who voted to go ahead and get the government back open. And for the record, Fetterman says he's voted every single time that the vote came up to open the government. So he's been on our side since day one. That's crazy how you have a guy who literally has brain damage, who has probably the most sense out of all the Democrats in the Senate. That's crazy. That's totally nuts. And before I go any further, let's get into the actual news story here. Of course, I will link to this and everything else in the description box if you want to see it and hear it without my commentary. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
This morning, a possible end to the government shutdown.
Let's get the job done, and let's do it fast.
Overnight, the Senate advancing a bill to extend funding for the government through the end of January.
On this vote, the yeas are 60 and the nays are 40. 3/5 of the Senate duly chosen and sworn, having voted in the affirmative. The motion upon reconsideration is agreed to.
8 senators breaking with their party to vote for the compromise, which does not include Democrats' key demand to extend Obamacare subsidies and prevent premiums from skyrocketing, the very demand that led to the government shutdown in the first place.
Let's pause. The main thing from my point of view, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe y'all know better than I do. If I'm wrong or whatever, let me know in the comments. But the main thing, the main sticking point for me was the Democrats wanting to fund healthcare for illegal aliens. That was the main thing, but I digress.
Instead, Republicans only promising a future vote on health care sometime next month.
If that is not successful, then shame on the Republican Party and shame on Donald Trump. But the American people will see who stands with them on health care and who does not. And that will be the platform of the next stage of the fight.
However, not all Democrats are on board.
I must vote no. This health care crisis is so severe, so urgent, so devastating for families back home that I cannot in good faith support this CR.
Man, Chuck Schumer, how old is he? 1,000 years old? Good grief.
That fails to address the health care crisis.
Americans have been dealing with the consequences of the government shutdown for weeks. Federal workers going without pay, airline passengers facing major delays and cancellations, and nearly 42 million Americans who depend on SNAP benefits left in limbo.
Before we continue, I just want to give a shout out to all the government workers who stayed on, did their job without getting paid, furloughs, uncertain future. Shout out to you guys. And I read that Trump is considering a bonus for air traffic controllers who stayed on. If that happens, it is most certainly deserved. For TSA, all you guys who went out there and worked and kept the party rocking, you guys most certainly deserve a bonus.
How much did you have left in your account?
23 cents.
23 cents.
Yes.
Last night's deal does not mean the government is open. Senators still have to finalize the bill, and the House still needs to approve it, a process that could take days. Nicole Dean.
All right, so there we go. Like I said, you got to go to the House. But like I said, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, said he's ready to go. The Senate, they already got the vote, so ain't no point in trying to go back and renege on it. And Trump, he's going to sign off on it. Government gets reopened, but that process could take up until, like you said, a few days, maybe as late as Friday of this week. Let's keep on going here. We got some reactions, of course. We have some reactions. Here's President Trump talking about it.
It looks like we're getting very close on the shutdown. We'll never agree to give any substantial money or any money to really prisoners, illegals that come into our country. And I think the Democrats understand that. And it looks like we're getting close to the shutdown ending. You'll know very soon. Thank you very much.
There we go. So again, shout out to President Trump and shout out to him for going to the Lions Commanders game out there in Landover, Maryland in the DC area. He had some boos in the very beginning, but you know that was the furloughed DC workers, the people that don't like Trump, the orange man bad people. The same kind of people who booed Trump are the people who would tell Winsome Earl Sears to go back to Haiti when she is from Jamaica and been in the USA since 1970. Here is MS-13 DNC talking about what's happening.
I have a lot more questions than answers. I don't know why Senate Democrats
are going along with this
so hard for a date promised in the future, and looks like they're settling for something that is 6 weeks down the line.
I
don't get it.
I would say it doesn't feel like a gentleman's agreement. It feels like Lucy and the football.
Ooh,
you know?
Yeah, I see that.
It's like, oh yeah, we promised this vote.
Right.
Whoops, the vote's gone.
But they can even, in good faith, do a vote in the Senate. Nothing's going to happen in the House.
Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
So I'm like, even if John Thune is being above board, say, I'm going to do this. But look at the base. I mean, I'm already seeing a thing on social media and getting emails from listeners to my radio show. By the way, I have a radio show. And
we already said that.
We gave you credit for that, Dean. Come on.
People already, no, but they're saying, for 40 days you shut the government down, and now you're going to open the government up, and what did you get in return?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. After the pain you inflicted, people were willing to take the pain. I talked to union workers from TSA. I said, I'll take the pain if it's going to help me to get health insurance subsidies paid. So you're getting nothing in return. I don't know how. And you just won an election on Tuesday in huge numbers.
This is my question. What explains the timing here? Like, what changed? The term deals didn't change.
The cynical person would say that Democrats won the election, that's what changed.
Yeah, Republicans are going to say that.
That's exactly what they're going to say. And, I'm not flacking. I, worked for 3 Democratic senators back in the day. I'm not flacking for them now. I don't know what their response, a real response, is going to be to that because it's not apparent. It looks like they folded.
The thing, they played chicken. And the Republicans weren't budging. So now what do? Let's keep the government shut down. And a lot of your constituents are going to be upset about this. Not just the air traffic controllers, TSA agents, all the government employees affected by this, all those who may not be government employees affected by this, meaning people that got to go to the airport and there are super long lines, not just them, but everybody is going to be calling you like, yo, what's going on? The EBT cards ain't getting refreshed. I can't be 800 pounds anymore. What's happening? Now, here we have Scott Jennings over on CNN talking about what happened.
But it was predictable. I said on Tuesday night during our election night coverage that I expected the Democrats to cave because the election is over. This shutdown was always a political shutdown. They knew that they would try to gin up their base for the Tuesday elections. And once the elections were over, they didn't really know what to do next or how to get out of it, so they just caved in. And I'm not sad they didn't get anything for it. I feel something like Judge Smales in the movie Caddyshack. You'll get nothing and like it because bad behavior should never be rewarded. And
so, really, is that what they did? Look, I'll put that right there, but again, everything will be in the box. But is that what they did for real? Was this all about just trying to win the election? Was this all about just trying to get Zorwan and all them in office? That's crazy if that's the case. So you shut the government down, disrupted lives, canceled flights, all of that, disrupted paychecks, people not getting paid, military not getting paid. We had to get a private donor to come in and pay the military for a while. You did all of that just to bring in the communists in New York City to destroy the country. As I close, I want to say this. If this isn't evidence that the Democrats hate you and they hate this country, I don't know what else would be evidence to prove that. Because to me, it's pretty obvious. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about the government shutdown finally coming to an end? Democrats caving, getting nothing in return. Were they just trying to win the election? Was it about healthcare, illegal aliens? What was this about? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This was ridiculous. It was crazy. I think it was about healthcare for illegal aliens, and I didn't think about that part as far as just trying to win the election. Hey, we're going to put something out there. Yeah, no, we got bad crime and violence in our cities, but you know what? This, hey, the government shut down. Focus on that. Focus on the EBT. When you get people disrupted, when you get them distracted, and when they feel like you're going to be the savior, okay, I'll go out and vote for you. After you get your vote, now you're right back in the same situation or even worse because of what they did to you. Hey, but look, I'm glad that Mom Donnie won. I'm glad that all these Democrats are in office, because when they see the results of what they've done, when they see how badly they messed up, they're going to regret it. And hopefully they learn from this. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.